Hi, I'm Amish Shroff, the Museum Director of LLDC, Living and Learning Design Center.
We often hear these letters called DCOW, LLDC. What are these letters? Where did they come from?
So DCOW, which is actually the history of LLDC, stands for Design Center on Wheels. And this was a project which began in around October 1997. This project was to capture all the traditional designs and to be able to raise the quality of embroidery to the highest level that was seen before. We did this project with the 12 communities of Kutch who embroider traditionally and had taken the journey of using a personal craft to become a means of income for themselves. What had happened is Shrujan started in 1969, and by mid-80s to mid-90s, the quality of embroidery had started dropping quite a bit because it was the second and the third generation that was now working on embroidery as a means of income. And the way that every single thing, when it is for yourself, the way your grandmother teaches you versus that is being taught for commerce, the amount of information that was being given out or the things taught were reducing drastically. And we realized along with that, the quality of embroidery was also going down because they were not, earlier when they made products for themselves, they would be seeing it. So they would not want to be caught dead in products that were not embroidered nicely. I mean, they want to do the best things because they wanted to outshine their neighbors, their sisters, everyone. But in this, it was a product going off somewhere else, and that connect was being lost. So we realized that, okay, let's try and, buy out as many old textiles as we can and take them to the women and show them reference points. And we realized that there are no old textiles because no one ever held on to old textiles. They wore it or used it, and that was the end of it. What was important was the skill. So we said, okay, my mother took on the project, and it was funded by Dorabji Tata Trust. This project was to make around 1150 or so 3 feet by 4 feet panels covering 16 embroideries, which were the most popular embroideries then, across these 12 communities. And the project went on where we started making the panels from the year 1997 to 2002. And we covered, excuse me, sorry, 1 minute. We have a little friend here. So as I was saying, till 2002 we had finished embroidering so many panels. Plus what we also did was we did embroidery on products that were more contemporary use, because at the end of the day all of these women are going to be embroidering more for commerce than for themselves, and this became a design bank. The process of DCOW was that we had grandmothers who had embroidered for Shrujan or even prior to Shrujan, but just for themselves. We had mothers who had worked as the embroidery artisans of Shrujan, the first generation, and we had the second generation. We had them sit together, and we used to call it a class. So we would have around 15 to 20 women per village who would be sitting and making these panels. These panels were designed by the traditional artists from the community, and also by 2 designers or 3 designers who've actually been accepted by the community to become what you would call artists for them. It's a difficult job trying to do designs for embroidery because each embroidery has different kind of spacing. So anyways, these panels covered the traditional designs of products, and they were always 3 feet by 4 feet because it's a cross section of a ghagra, or if it's an upper body garment, or even if it's borders that would be on the headdress, or it would be products of household items, a cross section of them would fit into the 3 feet by 4 feet section. These panels are still to date, we're in 2021, 19 years, and they are still some of the most amazing pieces of embroideries that we get to see. The women were so motivated when we said that your name is going to be with each of these pieces, and y'all are the last generation who knows. Y'all are the people who are going to be leaving behind a heritage for generations to come, and they really took it quite seriously and did their best in that. These panels are what you see at LLDC. It took us so many years to make the panels, but even before all of them were complete, we had started traveling with them into the villages. Now, public transportation in Kutch was at that point pretty sporadic, and even now it is still pretty expensive. So the idea of a mobile museum is extremely relevant to a region like Kutch. We would go to the villages where the embroidery women who work with Shujan were. We also traveled to other places, but that was our primary aim because we knew these women are working and we know that they need the motivation to improve the work to be able to earn even more for the household. I'm sorry that we have this guy here all the time in the video. He's very interested in what I'm saying. So the women, whenever we took the panels into the villages, we went by a bus and we would have these stands that we could assemble, and we would either be in a community hall or we would be in a school. We would ask the Shujan women to come, we would ask their younger generation and older generation to come. We would also ask everyone in the villages, and we would try to have it in the schools because we would be able to capture all the younger generation people. So these panel visits would be through the day, an entire day of putting up all of these things. And people would come, we would have storytellers who would talk about the panels, they would talk about the embroidery designs, they would talk about the culture of the community. And that's what DCOW stands for. The next thing that you'll ask was LLDC. What does LLDC stand for? LLDC is the short form of Living and Learning Design Center, which is the institute which I am heading as a museum director now. And the aspects in LLDC are research, the museum galleries, the craft studio, the library. Now, living and learning is because when all of us started, even DCOW, none of us are museum experts, none of us are research experts. And we've been going on learning different aspects, and that's why I was living and learning, and every single day learning. Design Center doesn't stand just for design as in a craft or a product design. It also stands for designing your life, or designing how we want to move forward with products and projects. And center, of course, because it's a stationary place. And yeah, Living and Learning Design Center stands for a museum, a research center, our craft studios, and all the other things that go along with it.
What was your role in this entire project?
So in DCOW and in LLDC, my roles have sort of been evolving. I joined DCOW as a project coordinator, which meant that I had to do all the administrative and fundraising and reporting to funders. Also ensuring that all the logistics were in place for a designer, for a storyteller, for the artisans, for the production team. That was DCOW. And then, of course, there's every oddball job, like I was a residential photographer at that point who had to photograph all the products. Luckily, we had another team who would come and go. So all of our really nice pictures were taken by them. But if we needed last minute or, just immediate images that have to be shot, that was my role. Then DCOW became, two alphabets that got left behind, Pride and Enterprise, P&E. So DCOW became P&E, which became our research project. And in that, my role was, again, the coordination aspect of it. But in the research, we had to make films, which were like a DIY film, which teaches you how to do the embroidery. And these films, the primary target is the younger generation of the community, because these are the grandmothers who are the last, knowledge keepers of the community, because this is a knowledge which is passed down orally. We couldn't find someone who was willing to be in front of the camera with the artisans. So I had to play the role of, the main star actress who had to interact with the artisans and talk and try and explain online on the film. So that was the role that I played in Pride and Enterprise, along with being part of the person who monitored the research. And then we had the books that had to be made. So I was coordinating between the writer, the editor, the photographer, the designer, the printing agency, and sitting out there day and night and getting that done. And then we moved on to LLDC. So coordinating with the architect, doing a study tour across the world to see museums and what they were doing and what we should do, what we should not do. The roles that I've had to play, yes, have been to make up the museum, to be part of the research, the learning conservation, and how to handle and take care of the entire collection. But, everything that comes along, you have to play a different role when it's an institute. Just a minute.
Sorry.
Mowgli! So basically in LLDC, I think for all of us, the kind of roles that we've had to play have constantly evolved. We suddenly think up new projects, and then we don't have an expert who we can catch for that, and then you've got to go learn it and then go play that role. Not only for me, but I think the entire team would agree that we are living and learning, and we are constantly designing new roles for ourselves, and we don't know how good a job we're doing, but we are definitely pleased with what we think we do.
So if you were to summarize your journey from DCOW to LLDC, your personal journey, in one word or one line, what would you say?
One word or one line to summarize my journey from DCOW to LLDC, it's very difficult. It's been 23, 24 years, and I think this is life now. It's just journeys like this.
Okay, thank you.